Welcome back. A look at this screen left. Progressive Democrats marching from the House side of the Congress to the Senate side just before Senator Joe Manchin tanked the Democrats' hopes of making abortion a national right. As the midterm elections approach, some pro-life advocates worry there's no longer a place for them in the Democratic Party.
Our next guest is an anti-abortion Democrat who says his party is going too far in pushing hardworking Americans out of their party.
Congressional candidate for Illinois' 1st District, Chris Butler, joins us now. And just to clarify, Joe Manchin just didn't tank it. I mean, he needed 60 votes to pass it, and so it was 49-51. So where do you stand right now with your party? What would you have done? Not what Chuck Schumer did?
Well, I think we have to make room in this party for folks who understand that the fundamental right to make the decision of when and where you're going to have a baby is a real freedom that we need to protect. But offering an abortion is just not the way to protect that freedom. We have to make sure that we're enforcing a culture of consent, both in our law and in our culture, that we're closing income and wealth gaps between men and women, that we're making sure that domestic violence is not one of those issues that lurks in our society, overlooked and punished. There are a lot of things that we can do to secure that important right, and I don't think that offering an abortion is the main one.
All right, Chris, if you're pro-life, you think the party is too extreme, why are you still a Democrat?
Well, the first experiences that I had in politics were Democratic experiences. The first Democratic precinct captain that I ever knew was my great aunt Irene. And I learned these values in my community, in the church that I pastor. I actually pastored the church where I grew up. And this is where I learned my values. People like me have spent their literal blood, sweat, and tears building up this party. And I don't think we should just let ourselves be pushed out of the party. We shouldn't just ignore the legacy of Fannie Lou Hamer and Frederick Douglass and the work of the Church of God in Christ, the largest black denomination in the United States today. We can't just say to all these folks, there's no room for you in the party.
Yeah, Chris, a moment ago when you were talking with that first answer, you were talking about choice to have a baby. And Joe Biden last week said, abort a child. You know, you're absolutely right. You know, it is a child. It is a baby. And yet there are so many Democrats who are unwilling to say, when does life begin? Because we were talking with that bill yesterday, terminating a life right up to birth. That's crazy. That's ending a life.
I think it absolutely is. Now, as a pastor, I get to sit with people in some of their most personal situations, and I can tell you, I've never had a woman come into my office, and I've sat with young mothers who are facing pregnancies that they don't feel fully equipped for, but I've never had anybody come to me and say, you know, I've got a clump of cells, you know, developing in my tummy. People come and say, I'm going to have a baby, Pastor.
Because that's what it is. It's a baby.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right, so what does the Democratic Party need to do to become a little bit more central so it's not so extreme?
I mean, I think that we just have to be willing to have this conversation. And I frankly think that it's a way that we need to lead this country. There's so many issues like this one that really shouldn't be left-right. They should be, I mean, they're right-wrong issues. And our party has to open up this conversation so that people with differing viewpoints can be a part of the party, can be a part of the conversation.
Sure.
Now, I know what I believe about life and protecting the life of unborn children, and I think that's very, very important. And we have to have that conversation in this country. The data tell us that everybody is sort of unhappy with how the conversation is going. Yeah. We need a much better conversation, but we cannot begin to expel people from the party just because we disagree on this particular point
like Henry
sort of orthodox.
Like Henry Cuellar and to a degree Joe Manchin, and remember Frederick Douglass was a Republican.
Hey, Chris, before you go, you're a Democrat running for Congress in Illinois. If people would like to donate to your campaign, what's your website?
We can go to electchrisbutler.com and donate to this campaign. And please do help. There's a governor and a mayor in this district. I'm running to represent the south side of Chicago. And they have a vision for making this city and state a haven for abortion. I think that what I hear from people is a vision to make the south side of Chicago a place where people want to come to have babies and raise families.
All right, Chris Butler joining us from Chicago. Sir, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you for what you do with the church.
Thank you all so much.
God bless you.
A lot of work to do.